Hello peoples, I'm back again. First thing before I start the video, I finally got that thing stop chirping. I got my dad to disconnect it from the ceiling, so hopefully there's no fires. Also, I didn't knit this, but I am going to be knitting during this video. I realized in my past videos, since I was talking about such a intense topic for myself, I would work myself into a little overthink period where I'd be up for a really long time afterwards. So this calms me down. Okay, in this video, I'm going to attempt to stay on task and do a part 3 of an ED clinic thing. So that's what the first 5 minutes of this video is going to be, and then after that, I can't promise you anything. So, also, in the ED clinic, I learned how to knit, and I remember one of my friends that I made there, she hated it because everybody was knitting. Literally, it's the best pastime. You can still listen, but you're also focused on something else, and I think it really helped me because, again, you're faced with your biggest fear all day, and when you have a little distraction, it can make you a little bit easier to open up during group meetings. So, okay, a couple things that I wanted to address about being in an ED clinic that were really hard. I also don't even remember what I already talked about, so this could be repetitive. But I know that for me, being in a clinic really young, or not really young, I was 18, 17? Ooh, I don't know. But it was helpful for me, except I definitely think that I started lying to myself, a little bit. I kind of went into a over-energetic mindset of I'm gonna beat this, I'm gonna be great, everything's gonna be fine. And I kind of just started ignoring the thoughts that I was going through instead of actually addressing them, which I don't know if it's something that a lot of other people go through as well, but that is something that is a challenge because you're okay, I just want to get out of here. You don't want to be there anymore, and it can be really triggering having to talk about it all the time. So, but I wanted to talk about meal times as well. So at meal times, there's a certain meal plan that you follow, and everybody has a different meal plan, so that can also get challenging, because if somebody's at a different, severity than you, their meal plan might be different. Well, everybody's meal plan is different, but it might be hard seeing everybody's plate. I know that some people, I felt judged at times only because people be that's all she has to eat. And I was yeah, because I wasn't super severe, which again is a touchy topic because I feel like anorexia, bulimia, binge eating disorder, all of that, it is not really, yes, they're eating disorders, but they're also mental illnesses, and it's not always about your weight. It's not. It's also about your mental state and how you think and what your relationship with food is. So I had a very negative relationship with food, and so did a lot of other people, and other people had different, I'm just going to keep using the word severity because I don't know what else to use. But being there had its pros and cons in terms of I met amazing people, but everybody has their bad days, and sometimes you can walk in having a great day, really motivated, and being around a lot of people who are not having a good day can kind of bring you down, or the opposite is you can be really positive and you bring other people up, but that's not always that easy. So excuse me. So that can be really hard, and even some people can start off having a great day, and then right after mealtime, it can be you can just feel a dampened mood, even if some people have to stay behind. So if you don't finish your plate, well, where I went, if you didn't finish your plate, they would give you a boost drink, like a protein shake, and you could have gotten halfway through your meal and you still have to drink it, and you're what was the point? I never got boosted though, but if that did happen to someone, they stay in the meal room a little bit longer, and it can be hard when they come back and they might feel like everybody's looking at them, but it's really encouraging if they come back and everyone's like, no, you got this, you did great, like everybody's really into keeping each other up, I'll just say positive. So like I was gonna say, there's different rooms for different things. So there's a meal room, there's the group room, and then there's also the rooms where you have check-ins with your clinician. And then there's like another room, another section where you have your weight and vitals. Weight and vital day can also be really challenging, especially because like I talked about before, sometimes you have to drink a Gatorade or something, like if your vitals are a little bit off, and that can be really hard because you'll be trying so hard and they're like, yeah, no, your vitals are good, and you're like, okay, well, I thought I was doing everything right. So then kind of like can push you back a little bit. But again, like everybody's so encouraging, and but it can get hard, like, because people have their bad days. So another thing that I want to talk about, real quick, this is the pearl stitch. I started it in treatment. It was so cool. They taught me how, like my peers taught me how to knit. I tried to pick it up years ago, but it didn't work. But now I love it, and it's really calming. My boyfriend makes fun of me because he thinks it makes me a grandma, but it's fine. Okay, back to eating disorder clinic or eating disorder related stuff. I know that for me, when I was in the clinic, it was, I'm trying to think of where I want to go with this. Again, I don't want to be triggering on this channel or anything, so I'm going to shy away from some stuff, but I know that group therapy for people who are about to get admitted or anything, if you're going into group therapy or trauma or anything like that, it can get hard because there'll be times when people like don't talk. Okay, there's a glare in my glasses that's like getting on my nerves. Okay. Oh, and now I'm not centered. Okay. And now I forgot what I was talking about. Okay. Well, I'll just come back to that. I lose my train of thought very easily. It's something that I struggle with because eating disorders, they take some stuff away from your noggin there, and purging and doing all of that stuff takes some brain cells, baby girl. It's gonna be hard. And while I was saying that, I'm trying to remember what the heck I was talking about, and it's not necessarily coming back to me. Okay, so here I am like a month, almost 2 months later, here to continue that last video. I lost my train of thought so hard that I forgot about it was just sad, okay? So basically, the last thing that I was talking about, you know what I was talking about because you've been watching the video, but I had forgotten. So basically, when I was saying that it might be hard when someone comes into treatment and you have like trauma group or anything like that, it can be really hard because you never know what to expect. Like how I was talking about, like everybody has like their hard days and everything, but sometimes it feels like you're like crazy. Like you feel as if maybe something's like, you know, something's wrong with you because you're in treatment. Wrong with you because like nothing's wrong with you. You're struggling and you finally went to get treatment and get help, which is step one and is really good for you. But it's really hard when you have all these people coming in at different levels, and it can be so challenging to walk in with like high spirits, and you see someone in there and they're like, they just have given up basically. And so basically what I did when I was in there, I tried to boost other people's spirits so much that I kind of tricked myself into believing that I was getting better, but in reality, like that wasn't really the case. It was just I happened to be more outgoing. I'm a more talkative person than the people who were in treatment. Like they didn't talk much, so I usually felt that gap. I filled that gap of like nobody's really talking because I hate how awkward it was. Like I don't like the silence, so I would step in and like fill that up, and by me talking more and everything, I thought like, hey, I'm talking more, so I must be getting better. But in reality, I was just filling a gap and ignoring my problems. So So personally, I've known people who have battled with anorexia, bulimia, binge eating disorder, all that kind of stuff, and it's really hard to hear. Everybody has different experiences, especially with people who are undiagnosed but still face like really problematic relationship with food. And I think that's a really big problem with, yeah, maybe they weren't diagnosed, but I think it takes so much to be diagnosed. Like, I wasn't diagnosed until I was already like pretty bad in my eating disorder. Like, I was pretty committed. So like when people were telling me something was wrong, I was like, what do you mean? Like, nobody's told me anything before. Like, why are y'all stepping out and getting crazy now? And my doctor was like, yo, are you eating? And I was like, no. And they're like, but you exercise a lot. And I was just like, what's your point? And she was like, yeah, that's like it's not it, sis. That's not good. And this was before treatment. I jump around a lot. Bear with me. I will one day get a hold of how to do these videos. But I bring that up to say, like, it's hard to acknowledge that you have a problem. So being in treatment, you have all these people who are like, either they don't think they have a problem and they're trying to finally just be like, okay, maybe there's something wrong. Or you have people who are working their way down, like they were an inpatient and now they're coming back down to be like re-pushed into the community. And they're like, yeah, I've tried my best, but like this isn't for me. So they're kind of like over it. And all those different energies can get like really overwhelming. And like it's really hard to just sit with yourself and be like, am I getting better? Or am I just like kind of doing better than the people who are around me? But it's usually a really good environment. Like there's great people around you who everybody's there for a reason. Like they showed up. And the fact that people are just showing up in general just shows that they want to get better. And I used to hold this standard of being like, oh, well, they're not talking, so they're not as committed as I am, like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, everybody commits in their own way. And there were days where I realized I wasn't as talkative, and the worst thing happened. People were realizing that I wasn't talking as much, and then they get the, are you okay? You're not talking as much. And I dug myself the same hole that I did in school and I did at home, which was I talk a lot. I don't know why. It happens. But majority of the time, I love being quiet. It's just sometimes I'm so exhausted. I'm like, I don't feel like talking today. And a lot of the people that know me don't really get that because they know me to be outgoing, bubbly, happy. That's who I am, or in their eyes. And I think it was just really hard to be like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, I'll be perfectly okay and just quiet. And some people just can't get that. They're like, that's not you. Like, something must be wrong, which makes me start thinking, oh my gosh, is something wrong? And then I'm back in my head again. So, like, ooh, I get distracted so easily. Oh my gosh. But I said all that to say, I just wanted to wrap up that old video finally and put it all together. I hope this was helpful. I know that I talk all over the place. I talk fast. It's just kind of how I am. Moving forward, I'm probably going to talk about this topic more, for sure. And I want to get more creative ways of talking about it because I don't want to just ramble on to people. I mean, sometimes I will. You can literally just play this in the background while you're doing something. But if you're thinking about going into treatment, I'd say just be mentally prepared that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like, oh, and I'm better now. Like, you're going to have to go back to some rooted things that might have been the upcoming of when your eating disorder started that you weren't even expecting. And then you have to also think about the relationship with your family members and everything. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from going into treatment, but I'm trying to say it's not as easy as you would think. And it kind of changes you as a person because you have to really confront the thoughts that you have with yourself all the time. And as soon as that's introduced, that's the hardest part. Because when you're in your eating disorder or in your head all the time or all that stuff, you can just be there. You can just be in your head and it's okay. But for me, being in treatment, it introduced that idea of this is wrong, you can do better. And now it's just a constant battle in my head of oh, I want to start for the next 36 hours, or I want to do this, this, and this. And in the back of my head, I'm like, this is wrong, that you've been in treatment, you can do this. And it's just really hard, but I'm glad that I'm now going through this experience rather than dying. So, thank you for watching.